Howdy, with this video, I want to go over the career essay just a little bit more, particularly with MLA formatting. A lot of MLA formatting, it can get a little confusing, but keep in mind you should be asking questions if you don't understand something. There's all kinds of help out here, and we'll get into that here in a second. I'm doing this video on Tuesday, February 18th. For Friday, the first paragraph of the career essay is due. Basically, I just want to see what your topic is. Make sure you're getting that as specific as possible. Don't just say you want to be a nurse. Do you want to be a neonatal nurse? Do you want to be a geriatric nurse? Do you want to be a travel nurse? What kind of nurse do you want to do there? And the reason is when you get into the essay, the things that might stress you out, the qualifications might be different. If you're an ER nurse and you don't handle pressure well, you might want to do something else, right? So make sure you're as specific as possible there. We'll be taking a look at the first paragraph, which shouldn't be too much there. Then we're going to start getting into the first two paragraphs next week, and your full draft is going to be due to Professor McNeese on next Thursday. Then I'm going to look at it one more time, and then the essay will be due on the 6th. Kind of notice all that e-portfolio stuff is due as well. Hopefully you're pretty much done with that or getting close to the end of that. You don't want to be up on the 5th, at 4 in the morning trying to get an academic plan going. But hopefully all that's getting put into the e-portfolio. I'm going to come out Thursday, going to do a couple of things, but basically I want to make sure you're able to put things in the e-portfolio and make sure we can all see what's going on there. So we'll be seeing you Thursday as well. Where are we going here? Just to review the essay real quickly, again, you're researching the career you're going to get into with your 2-year, 4-year degree. But also how you're going to get to that point, particularly with your education. The first section, again, is just going to be that first paragraph, probably telling us why you want to be a nurse or electrician or whatever it is you're here at Northeast State to do. Then section 2 is going to start getting into the qualifications, particularly the education. You're going to have that academic plan there, all the physical abilities, the mental abilities, all those kind of good things that you need to get to that job. Again, sometimes you can get your degree, and then if you don't pass the certification test, you're not a nurse or an accountant or whatever. So it's you want to know kind of what you're getting into there. It's kind of good to research your colleges. They should know how many of their nursing graduates pass the NCLEX, for example. And it's kind of good information to know. If none of them are, there's a problem with the school probably, right? If it's up in the 90% range, you should feel pretty good. It's like, okay, I can be in that 90%. Who passed that NCLEX or whatever requirement that is. The third section, again, is going to kind of talk about the job itself. You're going to make some decent money, the kind of money you want to make after spending all this time in college. If you don't like that particular job, can you move sideways? Can you move upwards? Is there other things you can do with that degree? It's kind of an interesting question. You may not want to be a floor nurse your entire life. It gets hard on the body. It gets hard on your back. You might want to move up or move sideways or get into teaching. What else can you do with that nursing degree and that kind of nursing experience once you get into that profession? Last section, talk about your suitability for the job and how you can make yourself marketable for that job. Hopefully by the time you get your college degree, can you do internships or other professional organizations, volunteer work? Do you know what's good and bad about the job? Just kind of getting that, where the stress is coming from. What kind of turnover rates there are. Some jobs have fairly high turnover rates because of the stress in them. And you want to kind of know that going in. You don't want to become a teacher and find out, wow, I don't like all these kids coming at me and all their parents nagging me and stuff and administrators on my back. I can't stand this. You don't want to get a 4-year education degree to find that out. You want to find out now and make sure you're suitable for that job, right? And hopefully the answer is going to be yes. And the whole point of this essay is at the end, hopefully you're going to say, hey, I got a good plan. I see what I need to do. This is the job for me. I'm going for it. Woo! But it's also sometimes students kind of get to think kind of like, gosh, I don't know. Particularly students who want to get into pharmacy, once they realize how much education that takes, how competitive it is, and how stressful the job is once you actually get the degree, and you're not making good money, but it's a high stress kind of job sometimes. If you ever watch them working at CVS, they're moving fast, right? And if they make one mistake, they could kill somebody. Whereas, like with an English teacher, if I misgrade a paper, nobody dies. But that's kind of the essay. Make sure you're reading the requirements carefully. What we're going to get into right now is the MLA stuff. Kind of get comfortable. This might take a little bit. But the more different ways you hear about MLA formatting, generally the better off you'll be. I can't get where I want to be. When you get into the course, on the help resources page, you're going to see some help there. Everything I'm about to talk about is going to be covered in this MLA lecture. Obviously, it's hard just to take in 100% of what somebody's saying on a video. But this lecture, this is really nice if you're having trouble going to sleep at night. You can start reading this and you'll be out pretty quick. It's not exciting stuff, but it's very important. The sooner you learn MLA formatting, the easier, if you have to go on to APA formatting, the easier that is. It's just something you got to learn to be a college student. But we're going to start with the works cited page, then we're going to get into citing sources in your essay, then quoting, summarizing, and paraphrasing. And this just goes through it maybe a little slower. And also, if you're kind of getting stuck, you're like, okay, the lecture's there, I can go look at that and see what's going on. And it goes through the different types of works cited entries and all that good stuff. Also, you're going to see sample essays here. Make sure you pay attention to the MLA formatting. That's what I'm about to talk about right now. I'm going to look at the sample research medical essay first, because I kind of have it annotated as a good sample essay. Download that. And you'll see my commentary on the sides there. But the reason we work with MLA formatting or APA formatting, MLA stands for Modern Language Association, APA stands for American Psychological Association. We're going to be an MLA in this class, but you may end up going to a speech class where APA is preferred. And you'll get to see when you get into them, they're not radically different. Just different enough to be annoying and have students say, why can't we just do one for... But the neat thing about it, if you learn MLA formatting here at Northeast State, it should be the same at ETSU. It should be the same at Harvard University. Once you learn MLA, it should be you only have to learn it once, hopefully. Each teacher has their little preferences and nitpicky stuff, but the basic idea is pretty much the same anywhere you go. We use MLA formatting for two main reasons. You want to credit your sources. If you're reading something I've written 5 years from now and you go like, wow, this is really good, this is really good. Wait a minute, I wrote that. Mr. Fish stole my work. You'd have every right to be upset, and you could report me to my dean and I might lose my job. I'm an English teacher. I'm supposed to know better than to just steal people's information. So you can't just cut and paste off the internet and present that information as your own, right? You have to credit your sources, and that's what MLA formatting is about. Also, you have to be accurate and precise with sources. If you're reading something I've written and I say, according to you, yada, 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 and you're like, I never said that. Whoa, hey. You probably might be even more upset than me just stealing your work. I'm putting words in your mouth that aren't true or that you didn't say, and I could get in just as much trouble. So can you in your essay. So make sure you're crediting sources, make sure you're accurate and precise with them. And the way we start with an MLA paper is with the works cited page. The works cited page is the last page in the essay. And what it is a listing of the sources you use in your essay. So like on this career essay, you're going to be using the Bureau of Labor Statistics and some other, and the college catalog and things like that. And you got to list those sources on your works cited page. And basically, some things to notice. The entries are in alphabetical order, and there's a reason for that. There's also hanging indentation. When you go to the next line, it should be indented, and it's pretty easy to do in Google Docs or in Word. Might go over that on Thursday real quick, or I'll just do a quick video once we get to that point. But it's in alphabetical order. Everything's double spaced once. And also it's the last page in your essay, so it should be, whatever your last page number is up here on your header, that should be your works cited page. And the fun part is trying to get them to format these entries properly, this particular way MLA wants to do it. One thing I'm going to bring you Thursday is this MLA handout. It's going to show you how to do many of the entries. So when you email me saying, how do I do this? I can kind of go to page 4, look at this one, and then adapt it to what you're doing. Or I may just have to give you the answer, right? It's not a secret I'm keeping. It's also, there's good citation generators out there now with MLA formatting, but you got to know what information to put into the citation generators to get the right works cited entry, right? if you want to notice some just basic things about MLA formatting, you always start with the author's first name. It's kind of a book entry right there. Author's last name, comma, first name, then the initial if they give you one. Then the book title is italicized, and the publisher, then the year of publication. You always want to start with the author's name if you know it. Sometimes you won't. You can see up here. This is kind of an old entry, with a World Family Reference Suite. We don't have that anymore. We have Wikipedia, right? But you just go with the article title, then the bigger unit, which is the reference suite, who published it, and the year of publication, and it just kind of depends on what kind of source you have as to how you're going to format it. This is off the databases. When we get to the medical essay, you'll be using databases. Again, you want to try and find the author's last name, comma, first name. If you have a second name, it will be given in regular order. But you want to start with the last name, and there's a reason for that, and I'll show you here in a second. Then you're going to go with the smaller unit, generally the article title. It could be the web page, it could be the article title, depends what you're looking at. Then the larger unit, the website, the journal, whatever's generally italicized. Then whatever information follows after that. Do you have the date of publication? For a website, it might be the last date it's updated. Then you have the URL, and then the date accessed if you want to give that. And I'm going to go over this, when we get into the essay after the first paragraph. I'm going to get into this a little more, a little more heavily. I don't want to get too detaily in this particular video. But you want to make sure you have the proper format. And again, this MLA style handout I'll give you on Thursday is going to show you how to do that. The Purdue OWL does a good job of going through the entries. So there's resources out there. It just takes practice. And you're not supposed to memorize all this. You're supposed to know where to go look this up, right? But the trick is, if you have your works citus page pretty right, particularly with the first word on the works citus page, when you go to use sources in your essay, you're going to cite your sources using the first word on the works citus page and a page number if you know it. So here we have a short quote. The writer introduces the quote. Oops, not doing well with my highlighting here. Then you get the quote marks. That's how I know it's a short quote. And it's word for the short quote. And then there's a citation in parentheses. And what she's saying is that I got this quote directly from this source called Coping, and it's on my works citus page if you want to go check it out. So if you go to the works citus page, we come down here with Coping with the Darkness. And we have a good citation, and we can go straight to the source on the works citus page, go find that source, and see if she quoted accurately if we want to. And it's very important you have these URLs correct, because I do that. I click on those, and I go see if you're quoting accurately. Here we have a summary or paraphrase. Again, whenever I see numbers like this, $350 million, $87.50, she got that information from somewhere. She has to cite that source, and she does. She's telling us it's come from McNamara. It's not in quote marks because it's someone's names. Up here, this is the article title. That's why it's in quote marks. So I go to the works citus page and see McNamara. There's Susan McNamara, and I could go get that source and see if she summarized or paraphrased that correctly. And that's kind of how these MLA papers work. When you're looking at a sample essay and you see these citations, the author's saying, hey, I got this information from this source. I just didn't wake up one day in the middle of the night or one evening in the middle of the night and say, hey, I bet the moderate stage of dementia, blah, blah, blah. She got this from somewhere, and she's citing her sources. And you can see throughout the sample essay, she's doing a good job citing her sources, letting us know where information's coming from. You can also put the first word on your works citus page in the introduction, like she does here, with researchers Michael Castle, Dolores Thompson, and Matthew Nathan's report. Then she gives a quote. Here we actually have a book source, so she has a page number in there. Generally, if you're using an internet source, you won't have a page number. It kind of depends on the source there. Sometimes with internet sources, you might have a PDF file that does have page numbers, and you want to go ahead and give those page numbers when you can. So it gets interesting out there, particularly on the internet. But again, I could go to the works citus page. I'll just see Michael Castle there and the other two authors, and there he is. Michael Castle, Dolores Gallagher Thompson, and Matthew Nathans. I could go to page, I think it was 37. I might have the page number wrong there. I could take this book, go to page 37, and see that direct quote straight from that page, and that's how it should work. If somebody wants to check your sources, They can see your citations, know where your information came from, and they can go make sure your information is accurate. So pretty good. It's a good sample essay. She does a good job using sources. Eventually you're going to write an essay based on a medical topic like this. There are 4 ways you can use resources in your essay. One is through the short quote. This one is probably many of you are familiar with. You give it an introduction, then you put quote marks around it. It should be word for word, straight from the source. You close the quotes, then you give the citation. Again, she has the first word on the works cited page here, and then the page number here, which is perfectly good. But direct quotes, short quotes are the only ones that get the quote marks. And short quotes are 3 or fewer lines in MLA formatting. For the long quote, that's 4 or more lines. We have a long quote right here. You have to introduce a quote. Always introduce a quote. Don't make a quote its own sentence, right? Quotes support what you say, so they should always have introduction and some commentary from you. But long quotes are tabbed over twice, 3 times if you're at the beginning of a paragraph. Just like a short quote, they should be word for word. You don't want to change anything. If you do, you want to use ellipses here to show an omission from the quote. That's the 3 dots. Or you want to use brackets to show a change to a quote. Or in addition to a quote. But otherwise, quotes should be word for word. And you'll start noticing if you watch news shows, you'll see if they're quoting from President Trump, they start putting in these brackets to show they changed the quote a little bit. They put the ellipses in to show omission. And sometimes news shows get in trouble for not using or quoting Trump accurately or misrepresenting what he says, or other politicians. It's not just Trump, obviously. But again, she's given the name of the first one on the works cited page up here in the introduction. The page number's down here in the citation. The long quote's tabbed over twice. Sometimes called a block quote because it's blocked on over. And she has 2 right in a row there, so it's kind of nice so you can see those long quotes working. Again, using the brackets, she had to clarify something there, so she used brackets to show that's her addition. That's what long quotes look like. So again, short quotes, 3 or fewer lines, should be in quote marks and part of the essay, incorporated with an introduction. Long quotes, 4 or more lines, should be blocked over, tabbed over twice, offset if you want to think about it like that. 2 other ways you can use sources in your essay, and you'll notice when you go back and look at the assignment sheet, you have to use the long quote, short quote, summary, and paraphrase. I want you to practice with these things. Summary, you condense material in your own words and sentence structure. And that's the hard part, getting into your own words and sentence structure, because you read what somebody else has written and kind of sticks in your head, right? But here, dementia patients were often thought to be senile or crazy. They were confined to their houses in nursing homes or even mental hospitals. If the original took like a whole page to say that, and if you're thinking, man, I could do that in a sentence or 2, like, we'll do it. Don't make us read this big long quote about something you could have summarized. Condense it, shorten it into your own words and sentence structure, but you still got to tell us where that information is coming from. And here, that's why she has a citation there. We can go to that coping source and see how she summarized, make sure she didn't misrepresent what the original source said. But that's what a summary looks like. A paraphrase, same kind of idea, except generally a paraphrase, you restate what the original says without leaving out any of the main points. So if you're doing something like brain surgery, you can't short quote it because it's just too long of a procedure for a little 3 or fewer lines. Long quote, 4 more lines might get complicated. Might be in doctor speak. You might have to dummy it down for your English teacher. I'm not a doctor, right? If you summarize it and shorten it, condense it, you might end up leaving scalpels and sponges in someone's brain. So you might have to do a paraphrase where you restate the procedure in your own words and sentence structure without leaving out any of the main points. In terms of looking at an essay, it's hard to tell. It's kind of more upon your intent about which one's a summary, which one's a paraphrase. But that's pretty much looking like a paraphrase. It's long. It's probably as long or longer than the original. She restated it in her own words. She didn't really leave anything out. So that's looking like a paraphrase there. It's going to look the same as a summary within the essay. But you can kind of see how those work throughout the essay. She introduces this summary here and cites it. letting us know where she's getting her information from. Signal phrase just is an introduction phrase to make us, she's talking about her grandmother, and all of a sudden she's going to switch to a source. She wants to indicate that she's about to do that within her essay. But when you start seeing these citations, you can kind of look and see that's probably a summary. That might be a paraphrase. It's hard to tell. They look the same. And you can kind of start seeing there's kind of looks like a paraphrase right there, right? It's long, probably as long or longer than the original, not leaving out any main points. Hopefully, as you look at sample essays, you can kind of start seeing these summaries and paraphrases, the short quotes, long quotes. There's a short quote there because it has quote marks around it, right? Long quotes are obvious because they're double indented. Summary and paraphrase don't get either of those, but they do get cited there. So let's look at one more essay. If you go to the Help Resources page, you'll see a sample career essay. Kind of take note of that. I have it up there so you can kind of use it as a pattern. You're not going to do the exact same thing because you may not want to be a mechanical engineer. This is one of my dual enrollment students, actually. That's why it says SC1. But a good essay. I'm not going to read it to you. But here, he's doing a summary or paraphrase, telling us what mechanical engineers do. And then you can see the citation there. And if you go to his works cited page, you ought to see a mechanical there. And there it is. So I know exactly where that information came from. I could go check that source. Assuming that link's correct, I should be able to click on that, go straight to that source, and see where that information came from. But kind of notice he's going to tell us what the job is. Then he's going to start getting into, what do I have to do to get there? He has to go to college. He's going to go to UK and get his Bachelor's of Science in Mechanical Engineering. And he's going to start talking about those requirements. Again, I'm not going to read this whole thing to you. But here's a short quote. According to the Bureau of Labor Statistics, professional engineers oversee the work of other engineers, sign off. And then you have the quote. You should have the period inside the quote mark there. The ellipses show an omission. It kind of keeps going. He probably needs a citation there, but he puts it back here. So we know where the information is coming from. He has this academic plan there. You want to write table 1, tell us what the academic plan is, what degree it is, and what college you're getting it from. Hopefully, for live, most of you is probably Northeast State, and that's fine. Actually, he ended up getting accepted to Vanderbilt. Joseph did. Just doing well there. You want to put the word source after your table and give us the works cited entry there, and you also have it on your works cited page. That's what the table should look like. So kind of use this as a pattern. Yours may not be quite as long if you're just getting a 2-year degree. You won't have 8 semesters, I hope. But notice he has a paraphrase here, kind of a long paragraph going over the costs. It's not cheap, right? He's kind of pointing out the end. It's like, man, I need some scholarships, or I'm going to send my parents to the poorhouse. But he has a citation there showing us where this information's come from. And whenever I see numbers like this, that information is coming from somewhere. I better see a citation, or you're taking that from somewhere. And again, as you go through this sample essay, you'll notice the summaries, the paraphrases, the long quote. There's the long quote there. You can tell because it's tabbed over twice. Should be word for word straight from that source. And again, he's kind of going through, following the assignment as given, and doing a good job there. When you look at the works cited page, and I hope you do, because it's a good pattern for what you're going to be doing. You're going to be doing one like this, which is probably out of the Northeast State catalog for your academic plan. I used to be going to the Bureau of Labor Statistics. That's one of the sites on the assignment sheet to do research on your career. So kind of notice it's kind of a pattern there for you to work with. You'll change things out a little bit. If you're not a mechanical engineer, you want to be a nurse, you'll probably put nurses there and whatever. But don't don't feel like you're starting from a blank screen with the blinking cursor. You got this sample essay. You got the other sample essay that kind of goes over summary, short quote, long quote, paraphrase. And you got the MLA lecture to help you out a little bit too. You got me, and there's all kinds of internet resources, particularly the Purdue Online Writing Lab's a good one. Plus, of course, Professor McNeese. And like I said, I'll give you this style sheet that goes over works cited entries on Thursday. It's a lot. And again, the idea is not that you memorize everything, but you know where to look it up. So when you think, man, I'm here on a government source, I'm going to go look at Joseph's essay and see how he did it. And he does a good job with the works cited entry there. And the more you practice with it, the I don't want to say it gets easier, but the more familiar it gets. Because you always run into some weird sourcing, like, I have no idea how to do this. And that's when you ask the instructor, right? So kind of a longer one. Again, that's why all we're doing for Friday is just that first paragraph. Then after that, I'm going to be working on the draft, getting that to Ms. McNeese. Then you're going to give it to me one more time so I can check the MLA formatting and all that good stuff. Make sure you're on track there. So got about 3 weeks on this. It's going to go quickly. College just goes by quickly, right? Feels like you're always trying to catch your breath. But hopefully have a nice unfettered spring break where you can relax a little bit. Then we'll come back and work on a medical essay. And then kind of got the journal entries maybe a little out of sync there. Kind of getting ready for the song analysis, but that's not to the last one. But it'll work out. If you have any questions, be sure and let me know. And I know this was a long one, so I appreciate your patience. But we'll talk to you later. Bye-bye.